Speaking
Brie
of Brie
Larson,
Larson,
Roland,
yeah.
you got to see the new Scott Pilgrim anime, and you're not in love with it. You are in love with it.
Okay.
Feel about it.
So first of all, just a little, if you don't know much about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it was seven graphic novels or six. They were graphic novels, basically mangas. And in 2010, there was a movie adaptation while they were still finishing the novels, by the way, by my favorite director, Edgar Wright, which is very stylized, very quick, all this stuff.
What
And
else is
had
he known for?
Edgar Wright did Shaun of the Dead,
Oh,
Baby
okay.
Driver.
Yeah,
He just did Last Night at Soho not too long ago.
I did
So
like that
it's
movie. Yeah.
yeah, and it had a lot of big name actors then, and it has even more big name actors now. I mean, Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead are the main leads. Chris Evans is in it. Jason Schwartzman, um, Brie Larson, like we said. There's a lot of big names in it, and it's about this guy who falls in love with this girl and has to fight a league of her evil exes. And if you love the movie and you love the manga, give the anime a try. And what the anime is that it's not a remake. It is basically a reimagination where it changes a plot point so you spend more time with the characters. Like you
Mm.
learn a lot about who the exes are. You're more invested in the backstory. That's a spoiler free review. Um,
Did
it
you practice
is
that? That was good.
Thank you. Uh, it is pretty good. Um, with the and it's easy for you to get kind of disillusioned and kind of disheartened at first. I'm keeping it spoiler free just for a second. But the ending kind of falls flat with the message, I believe, and it kind of almost ruins this thing that you're trying to hope for. So that was a spoiler free. Now we're gonna go into spoilers. Here's what I mean. Uh, a big part of the movie is fighting. It's the whole movie is a symbol of when you're in a new relationship, you're fighting for that relationship, whether it being like, with the person to gain like a mutual love or like fighting their past or fighting your own past so that you can grow and be a better person. That's what the movie and the books are about. And the fights all these evil exes, and the first evil X in this anime, they go to fight, and it seems like the uh first X actually kills Scott Pilgrim, the main character, at the end of episode 1. So it's very like invincible, kind of reaction where you're like, what just I don't think that's supposed to happen. I don't and so you're very, I mean, it's the show is called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. So you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna take off. He's gonna boost up like a rocket. No, he takes off. He's not in the show for a good portion of it. I don't want to spoil how many episodes he's not in, but it's it's very easy for you to get turned off by it because it's the main character. So it was a very bold move by the creators, and you're more focused on Ramona Flowers, and she's actually trying to learn what happens to Scott, and you know actually is able to bury the hatchet with a lot of her exes, and just kind of you get to know all these characters that you love and hate. And it's very like anime style, so it's kind of like quirky humor. That's not like, and when I say quirky, I don't mean like the millennial kind of quirky writing that we're all beginning to hate and ick. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about like they're actual dorks. That's what I mean. Um, but to spoil it even more, there's this big thing in the very finale where it's talking about uh, past mistakes and how people deal with it, and especially the main character Scott. And like basically, instead of, I don't know, accounting for anything that he did, he was literally trying to go back in time and change things rather than do what he could in the present. And this is a big part of Scott Pilgrim because he's a terrible character. That's why you watch Scott Pilgrim, because you can't name a single good person in Scott Pilgrim, like fully good, except for Knives Chow. That's it. They're all at fault because they're all human and they're all young. but it basically just kind of glances over it and says, Scott, you old scoundrel. Yeah, you can be young and dumb and don't learn anything from your future's faults. But Ramona, you keep running away. You need to accept that. And like basically puts all of the pressure on Ramona and not a single thing for Scott, which I found very upsetting and almost kind of ruins the whole series because this main character that we've been missing, and though he is not the main character anymore, you're basically kind of ruining a character's arc by saying, oh, whatever happens, happens, but having a complete opposite reaction to a different character, like another one of the leads. So yeah, that's my lengthy review.
No, that was good. I kind of went like, I was pretty invested in that review. I was like, I love it. Now I don't like it anymore. I don't know. But overall, the takeaway is like, would you watch it again?
That's a great question. I think I would watch it again after some time. I definitely want to rewatch the Scott Pilgrim versus the World movie because it's very similar in episode 1. They do some changes to kind of like give you a hint that it's not the same and basically telling you like, hey, if you want to watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World, go watch that movie because this is its own thing. And I think I would watch it again because I do love these characters as horrible as they are. But I think I want to watch the movie more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you have to compare them, you would take Scott Pilgrim versus the World any day.
Yes. Also, the music's better.
Oh, see,
I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. There's definitely times like where they're literally just kind of like forcing a song, and you're like, I feel like you kind of changed the plot so we could have more songs, but it's not even like the cool music that we're having. Like if you, I can't stress this enough. My ringtone for the past 9 years has been summertime, or no, what is it? It's a Sex Bomb song. I can't even think of it right now because I'm so flustered. But I love the soundtrack for Scott Pilgrim versus the World because it's very indie rock. It's garage. You know, it's this kind of like kind of grunge feeling, but not actual grunge music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is more kind of pop indie rock. Like there's no real grit. So it was kind of like upsetting. Like it was a very different vibe.
Well, I had a question.
Sex Bomb. Yeah, that's it. That's the name of the song. They also have so much Beck on this.
Well, so Beck
original album.
Yeah, so Beck, they hired Beck to make the music for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It was Beck and they got another band to help as well.
So Beachwood Sparks is featured on here. Sex Bomb, Black Lips, Broken Social Scene, T-Rex.
Sparks is on this. That's so funny. Edgar Wright did. He was the executive producer of this anime. He didn't direct. He directed the movie, but he didn't direct any of the episodes for this. But he did a documentary on Sparks, that band, a couple years ago.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Yeah. Fun little nod.
Yeah. What can you see this on? What is this streaming?
This is a Netflix based anime.
All right.
Did I convince you or did I
look? It kind of sounds fun. Yeah, it sounds like a fun little like after work, just like I need something stupid to watch.
It's something dumb and fun. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is also on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And what were you
gonna say? There's a lot of titles leaving Netflix. Have you guys seen it? I watched like Miss Congeniality 2 randomly and it was like leaving on Friday. I was like,
oh no.
Now I have to watch it.
Yeah. Now I got to be better about that because I'll just put it on my list and I'll be like, I take it for granted. I'm like, I have all the time in the world to watch this.
It's always going to be there. And then Netflix is like, peace out, suckers.
Well, it probably will be on some other streaming service. So,
maybe.
I mean, who owns it? I don't know. Unless it's Sony. If it's Sony, then you don't know because Sony's like, pay us money, we'll put it on whatever service. Their own? Well, Sony doesn't have their own streaming service, so
no. But aren't they trying to make their own?
No, they're not. They actually
somebody was trying to make their own.
No, well, I don't know. It might have been like because Lionsgate has their own. Lionsgate has Stars, and all the
Yeah.
other ones, like have theirs. Like I think Sony actually specifically said they were like, we're never gonna have a streaming service of our own. So everybody else out there, you guys wanna, pay us to put our movies on your streaming service? Like we are more than happy to do the work for you and sell you the rights to whatever. So
I think
like
that's
I
smart.
for example,
love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish more people would do that instead of trying to make me subscribe to every single person's.
yeah, like the Spider-Man movies, like they were on Netflix, like the Marvel Spider-Man movies, the
Yeah.
Tom Holland. And like so Sony sold like a certain period of rights after the movie comes out to Netflix. And then after the period with Netflix ends, there's another pay window, and that window they sold to Disney Plus. So now like those movies are on Disney Plus, but they were on Netflix. Then eventually, I guess, I don't know, they'll settle somewhere. But usually they start off on Stars. So like it's a whole thing. Like Sony makes money like 4 or 5 times over, which is great. But
Yeah.
Where's the
You know-
Sony movie dance?
I was gonna say this Scott Pilgrim anime has like a 77% audience score. Do you think that's too low? Like, because anything below an 80 usually starts to become a little concerning that maybe people aren't liking it as much as you'd want them to.
I'm not too worried about it because Scott Pilgrim, it's another one of those like cult things, and it just came out. I think there's still time to bump up that ratings. But I mean, if I had to rate it, I think that's probably what I would rate it. Like it's really good and it's fun, but there's some very key things that I probably would have changed.
Okay.
Still good.
Well, it looks like
Yeah.
you're recommending it. So whoever's watching this review, if you guys,
Yeah.
certainly if you watch the first movie, then it looks like this is gonna be up your alley, although with a few
Yeah.
caveats.
Definitely not
So-
hating it, just kind of like a forewarning. I think
Okay.
that's what I'm giving it. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
no, totally.
So-
I definitely want to watch it. I feel like sometimes you just need that. However, Roland, you went to go see another one of the movies that we failed to watch, but I did a lot of research, guys. I swear. I
It's true.
did all of the research.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go see it last night. I literally went to sleep at 8:30 like a grandmother. We're
Yeah.
supposed to wake up at 6:45 a.m. I slept until like 8:10. I woke up like in a fog. I slept for 12 hours. I was like, holy cow. But
Yeah.
it was much needed.